Now, I'm going to continue reading, but at the same time, I'm going to start, because I'm coughing a lot, and I'm drinking a lot, and I always drink out of these bottles, which Dragon Sense says I'm a total nut bar. How much of a nut bar am I? Let's read this book. This, it constantly interrupts the streams of my mind. Right now, I'm bombarded by a lot of negative energy for some reason, and I'm seeing a lot of negative shit happen in the world. This new world order is starting to introduce this, global prosperity plan where it is such a negative plan, and we're all going to buy into it because there's going to be a flow in the economic system. You can be, enjoy your slavery even more now, and it won't get rid of poverty. It'll just make the rich richer, which I think is very negative. And I think, we will destroy our planet faster than ever if we can't see this coming. But I'm, going to, right now, the bottle is accept and allow. And so that interrupts my stream of thought that says, don't focus on the negative. There's something good about this. I just don't know it yet, which I do know. And there is a way of taking advantage of this system. Need a drink of water. And not only does it help me to remember the stream in my mind I want to focus on all the time, it's to create the chemicals that just make the suggestion, accept and allow, step back. And what's good about all of this? There's something good in this, even though I see all of the negative shit and I'm going to judge and judge and judge everything to be negative. I'm going to accept and allow and see what's positive. Because all of these elites, the secret to everything is they take a negative situation and use it to their advantage. So I'm going to take this negative experience and use it to my advantage, which I'm suggesting all of you are, if you control the thoughts in your mind. The next on there that's very important, this is the unknown problem, is the complaints and the excuses. I put no complaints and no excuses on there as well. So it constantly makes me aware of when I'm making a complaint, which is the unknown problem, which is what you need to transform into the solution. And your complaints are your rules that you need to change. And there's, how can you change a freaking planet? Easy. Do what I'm doing. And if this concept got to be a global addiction to bottled water, first of all, yes, there's pollution with plastic, but there's a way to transform all of that pollution into something that's better. There's a reason why we're addicted to bottled water, so we can unfold this potential. If you're drinking out of this and you're into your society, you're in the workplace and you're drinking this, and you happen to make a complaint, then somebody else will say, why are you drinking out of this and making a complaint? Why are you drinking out of this and making an excuse? And then that will interrupt. They will, okay, something's wrong here. I need to make a shift. It's a way of using society to help you recognize your unknown problem, because you will never notice yourself making a complaint. You will never notice yourself doing what yourself does. But if you can use a tool to help you recognize what the hell you're doing. So as I'm reading, I'm going to let you see the different bottles. There's 6 different bottles that I use. Not so much of a nut bar. And the water itself, there's energy. This intention is within the water. It's changing the molecular structure of that water. But as soon as it enters my container, not the container that holds this water, but my body container, within my mind, the frequencies within my body will change the molecular structure of the water. So it's like I got to change what's in my container to sustain what it is that I experience in my world. So it's not magic water. It's just the whole thing in itself can provide the tool that we need to make the shifts that we need to make. Because all of your holodynes, that hologram that you are is all held in water. Everything is held in water. Information travels in water. Air, there's water in the air that makes the information in the air flow. Such in the case of the Ikes, or Kenya, a nomadic tribe of hunters. The Ikes live in the middle of Kenya National Park. When the government established the park, the Ikes were forbidden to hunt there anymore. All hunting became poaching. The Ikes were forced by government decree to become an Aboriginal society. Their response was to withdraw completely into themselves. They have become a schizophrenic people. They only laugh when one of their neighbors is in trouble or in pain. They ignore their young and abandon their old. They defecate on each other's doorsteps and hurl insults at each other all the time. This is now their culture. It came about because their individual holodynes of anger, frustration, and hatred could not be collectively expressed, so the Ike Society broke apart into individual expressions of anger. That's what we're doing on a global basis. That's where you'll find this behavior in schools. We're trained to do that because you're trained and programmed by the corporate world not to do anything right. And your anger and frustration of not being who you were meant to be, your full potential self, is making you angry, and you're taking it out on your neighbor, your families, your kids, your grandmothers, your families. When you face such expressions of anger and then look at your society to see how we express anger, some interesting dynamics turn out. You can see, for example, that collective groups often do exactly what the Ikes do individually. Does not one high school team laugh when the other fails? Does not one site defecate on each other's doorsteps by allowing its pollution to pour unchecked into the air, water, and of another? Do not governments, local, state, and federal, still tend to abandon both young and old? Our collective mentality is still evolving, and we must learn to face-base it so that we may help in development of the systematic way and unfolding our collective potential. The principles and practices of fairness and peacefulness and cooperation can only be established if the holodynamic arena is in harmony. The primary units of the holodynamic arena are the holodynes within each of us. Society is like an orchestra where all the individual players must learn the score before the symphony can play. Using ISP, we can each learn the score regarding our individual holodynes and can take responsibility for the causal potential of each, so that our individual state of being adds to the collective harmony of the group. The peace we create within ourselves among the holodynes of the minds is the real beginning of world peace. The enfolded I. It is written, the face-basing of holodynes, that the I resides. Once you learn how to face-base, you can learn how to access the inner world of your holodynes. And once you learn the face-base, what you really want, once you're no longer buried in the ball of string, you can see how focusing your mind on the quantum wave, the whole range of all the potentiality, helps you unfold any specific potential and get what you really want. You can see that the key to getting what you really want is enfolded in your full potential self. This is the greatest secret. This is what most successful people have learned. Your full potential self, your I, knows how to tap into the quantum force, access the source of all things possible, the quantum wave, and unfold your enfolded potential. But unfolding your fullest potential self involves clearing the channels of your mind and of all accumulated debris, all your immature and fractured holodynes. It requires changing the shapes within your mind, changing the very nature of the holodynes that are controlling and limiting the streams of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. The holodynes that limit your thinking and curtail your potential are immature. When you access such holodynes and mature them, you change their order, and likewise all orders. A Mandelbrot set, in all its complicity, is governed by a simple formula, which has corresponding governing shapes. What I learned early in my experience in studying the human mind is that the mind also has its own formulas and corresponds shapes. And these shapes are holodynes controlling the order of our thoughts. Now, these patterns within patterns means all of humanity is just maturing. That's all. That's all. Once we mature, we evolve. And that's why this 2012 is going to be this end of time, because we're not going to perceive things so linear. We're going to have this all-knowing because you're part of the hologram of the holographic image of this whole complete reality. Once you tap into knowing the all-knowing, there won't be any time, because there won't be any processes of, I got to know this first, this first, this first. You're going to know it all, so you're not going to see anything from a time-limited perspective. You'll get an all-knowing. So it's really kind of cool. And that's why 2012 is going to be our awakeness. We're going to have this big wake-up call. If you were to focus for just a moment on why you're doing what you are doing, and more importantly, on what really you want to do, what you really want in life, you would see that the potential hidden within you keeps reflecting outward. You would see that all your wants are simply reflections of your hidden potential, which keeps saying, I want out, I want out. The things that you seem to want out there in society are really potentialities within you. Now your mind has several ways of healing this. One of the ways is to get angry and to start clubbing everybody around you. Another is to shift and try to change your external circumstances. This is searching or trying to find process. If you just go inward, you will find that what you really want is hidden in the orders within you. That's why you all got good reason to be angry right now. If you lost all your shit, you're going to be really, really angry, and you're really, really justified with your anger. That's what happened to me. And then you're going to get labeled a mental illness because you're starting to recognize a few things that are wrong. People are going to start labeling you, and you're going to be the cause of everything that's wrong because you're homeless, and but you are not. You're the end result of a global picture. But the first thing you got to do is calm yourself down. Look within yourself. Do you really want to be angry? That's what I had to do. I had to really calm down my holodynamics. I was waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning, in terror, in total fear for my life, in my sleep. Because these holodynamics are there whether you're awake or you're asleep. And that's why a lot of alcoholics wake up in the middle of the night and need a drink. Because the pain is so severe, and they've got these knee-jerk, uncontrollable urges go for that drink. So forgive alcoholics, because they're definitely in pain and searching for answers. That's what addiction is. That's why you need pot. That's why you need to smoke marijuana. That's why all of marijuana will cure a lot of cancers, because it changes the frequency of your mind. It doesn't make you as angry anymore. You're kind of loving everything. You're kind of seeing and using your imagination of different possibilities. But it still acts as a medicine that once you find that calmness within your mind, realize that drug is your way of trying to find a solution to a problem. So while you're using it, find the solution, but then stop it and jump into the solution. Otherwise, your addiction keeps you locked in to the reason why you need to be using it all the time. Kind of use it for, what are my answers? And then once you find it, you don't need an addiction anymore. When you feel turbulence and chaos in your mind, when you are filled with turmoil and you feel like you're going to lose it, you can face your turbulence, and you will find that the turbulence is there, as everywhere, because new orders are evolving. And if you look beneath your chaos to find the holodynamics involved, you will soon see the lessons it has to teach you, the intent of your chaos, and you can then open the doors to new orders which lies within it. You can face your whole mind and see that it is near perfect reflection of the holodynamic order of the universe. Take a step back, accept and allow. That is what made a lot of really impossible things to just show up magically in my life. That is the intentions. I call it bottled intentions, because it is about intentions within you. Not intentions what you put out into the world, but the intentions of how you want to live and just be that example of. And I use this concept to see what can I magically make happen, but it didn't take any time and everybody thought it was impossible. And those are the intentions involved in that concept. I'll continue on another tape.